chopper in the car. Send my squadron to get it. You head home, we go to Brooklyn and barging in with it. I'm in showroom with the chopper like a Harley exhibit. Wait.
I knew we was in different ballparks. We thought to slide in a second with no plate. A show off? That sound like a nigga easy to locate. And ARP. Close this shit. Close this shit.
Purchase your ticket to be in the building or catch it live on pay-per-view stream.
Oh, Mike slapped me when I seen him.
Funky fresh dressed to impress, dying to party. Something, dying to move your body. To get inside, you pay the whole $10. Damn, that's like late 80s. Drop a comment if you know what those lyrics is from. I think it's pretty obvious from some of my previous releases that I don't stand with a lot of the shit that Ye has been doing. I don't like some of his antics. I don't like his arrogance. I don't like some of his statements. I don't think that he's presidential because, you know, he's running around with the 2024 hat and all that type of stuff. I don't need to run down the list of the things that I don't like about Ye. But at the same time, I'm not the type of person that sticks to that no matter what happens in this person's career. You have to ask yourself, when Kanye comes out and he reminds the world that I gave $2 million out of my own pocket to George Floyd's family, what did BLM give? That becomes a question. And I'd like to see answers like that too. Because I did watch that Candace Owens documentary. And the segment about BLM and the alleged fraud and money washing through these non-BLM tied companies and how that money was moved, all that funding that came in for the Black Lives Matter movement and the support of the George Floyd situation, millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. And of course, everything that's put on a DVD or a documentary or a TV show, that doesn't mean that it's true just because a documentary was made. But the things that it's showing, I'd like to see challenged if they're not true. Because in that documentary, they're going down things like tax filings. They're showing all these different companies that have received millions of dollars or received hundreds of thousands of dollars. And you start to ask yourself, okay, I see this filing here for this multi-million-dollar mansion, and it has this title of like a rec center. And we've seen stuff like this before of people hiding their money, buy these multi-million-dollar mansions, and then you say that it's like it's a retreat for these type of people. And you go to the website and there's never been any scheduled events held there. And some reporter shows up there one day and realizes that somebody's just living here. So now when we see a lawsuit come out of George Floyd's family suing Kanye for $250 million. And I believe it's a result from Kanye's statements that he made on Drink Champs, you know, saying things like allegedly George Floyd didn't really die from a knee on the back of his neck. It was really the fentanyl in his system, etc. And for people that don't understand where that statement comes from, once again, you can go watch for yourself the Candace Owens documentary. I think it's called The Greatest Lie Ever Sold. And there's all these different angles, reports, and interviews of people involved in George Floyd's life. A lot of interesting stuff in there. There's some things that I'm like, I don't believe that. I don't fuck with that. But there's a lot of things that make you open-minded and say, oh, wow. If you're real with yourself, you have to allow yourself to take in this type of information and be objective. So shout out to Piperboy Williams. Look him up on YouTube. He's a dope blogger, dope content. Go to his YouTube channel, subscribe to him. I saw him put up a tweet last week. Very, very open-minded and introspective tweet. Something to the effect of, wow, George Floyd's family is suing Kanye West for $250 million, but sued the city for only $27 million. So I had to Google that real quick. And I did see that the state settled for $27 million with George Floyd's family. But I'm curious as to what the actual suit was. I believe that it would be a wrongful death suit against the city because of the police department. You look at Kanye West running around talking about, I'm a multi-billionaire, I'm a multi-billionaire, I'm a multi-billionaire. Some lawyer or some team of lawyers is going to say, you want to know what? I think we should go for $250 million. That's how that really goes. So it don't even just be the family. Sometimes I shouldn't even say sometimes, a lot of times it be the lawyer. Now, when Kanye posts to, I believe, George Floyd's daughter, that I paid you $2 million out of my own pocket. I shouldn't even say paid, I should say gave you $2 million out of my own pocket. What did Black Lives Matter give you? So that question for me becomes twofolded. Number one, how many people gave that family individually like that, genuinely $2 million out of support? And where is the moral integrity and loyalty towards that? Now, people could come back at me and say, but what Kanye said supersedes because a life was lost. Granted, I respect that perspective. But when Kanye got on Drink Champs and he said those things that he said, which, let me make it clear, I don't agree with, but they came from him watching the documentary. He's been running around with Candace Owens. He goes to the documentary premiere. He watches that documentary in a crowd of people as that documentary is rolling out and being released and going on sale and all that type of stuff and being promoted. And he got some new information. He got a new perspective on how he felt, how George Floyd died. I don't know if that should be just something that falls under his freedom of speech. And the same way I opened up this video here saying that I allow myself to totally dislike somebody's position, but when I see new information or new revelations come out, I allow my perspective and some of my opinions to be altered. That's what it is to be open-minded. When somebody says, I don't like you, like, for example, I don't like Rare Breed Entertainment. And then 5 years later, let's say we do something dope or game-changing or something that's a huge addition to the culture, and that person still wants to sit on it and say, like, no matter what they just did, I don't like it. That person is marrying themselves to that early feeling. And it's a weak mentality and a weak character trait that you can't break yourself out of that and be able to say, you want to know what? You changed my opinion on something. You want to know what? You showed me new information. You want to know what? You gave me a new revelation. I'm not going to marry myself to this feeling or this emotion or this opinion that I had over here, because this over here is totally separate and totally different. And that's what it appears happened with Kanye. He donates $2 million of his own money to this family out of support. And then fast forward years later, he sees this documentary and he has a change of opinion about a couple things. The way he got up on Drink Champs and spoke about some of those opinions was hurtful, was harmful. It was worded poorly. It was managed poorly. Like I said before, sometimes it's not what you do, it's how you do it. He made mistakes there, absolutely. But when you talk about freedom of speech and the opportunity to receive new information, new visuals, new audio, why is he not allowed to feel that way? This is America, folks. He should be allowed to feel that way. So you have to question a $250 million suit. Is that just merely money induced? Or do you really, really feel that damage was done to the George Floyd estate or brand or family behind his comments? Because yes, Kanye does have a big platform, but the moral side of things is this man did donate $2 million prior. He just has a different opinion on certain elements of George Floyd's death, whether you agree with that or not. So it makes me feel a little odd to see reports like that. I still stand on what the Black Lives Matter movement means to me in regards to how it was screaming for the black man and a black woman's plight. But behind the scenes, when these other companies came in and allegedly pillaged and raped millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars and did all types of fraud and money washing through these non-related companies and whatnot, allegedly, when I see that in this documentary, that's a little ugly, to say the least. How do you feel about the George Floyd family suing Kanye West for his opinions about George Floyd's death for $250 million? How do we feel that he donated $2 million prior to the family? Does that add to your perspective on things at all? Does that change your feelings towards them suing him at all? Do you feel like Kanye West being sued is a money move because he's running around saying that he's a billionaire? Do you feel that he deserves to be sued for $250 million because he voiced those type of opinions on the Drink Champ show. When Ye is doing this bullshit out here and how I feel about him in general, I'm going to say it. I'm going to be honest about it. But when I see this, he comes out, yo, what's up with the fan? I gave y'all $2 million. Can I not have a change of opinion after seeing all this different audio and video and these documentaries and these revelations? In the documentary, they're sitting in there interviewing the people that George Floyd lived with. We got to stay open-minded about some of this stuff. I don't support a lot of the things that Kanye West does. But if the man is being targeted for money, no matter what the cause is, that's wrong.